Unpacking the basics. Economics might sound like a big scary word, but it is really quite simple at its heart. It is all about choices. People make choices every single day. We cannot have everything we want. Resources like time and money are limited. This is a fundamental idea called scarcity. Economics studies how we deal with this. Why should we even care about economics? Well, it touches almost every part of our lives. Think about the food you buy at the shop. Think about the job you have or hope to get. These are all connected to economic ideas. Even big government decisions are economic. They decide how to spend public money. Understanding this helps us see the world clearly. Many think economics is just about money or perhaps graphs and complicated numbers. While money is certainly a part of it, economics is much broader than that. It is a social science, really. It studies how people behave and interact. It looks at how societies organize themselves to produce and share the things they need and want. So, learning a bit about economics is useful. It is not just for experts or politicians. It helps you make better personal decisions. Should you save more money this year? Should you invest in learning a new skill? It also helps us understand bigger issues and how we can all contribute to a better society. It gives us tools to think about the future. Economics has two main branches or parts. Think of them as two ways to look at things. The first part is called microeconomics. Micro means small, as you might guess. So microeconomics looks at the small pieces. It studies individuals like you and me. It also studies families and single businesses. It is about their specific choices and actions. Microeconomics asks questions about these small units. For example, why does a cup of coffee cost what it does? How does a local bakery decide its prices? Should a small company hire more workers? Or how does one person decide to spend their wages? These are all microeconomic questions. They focus on particular markets or people. It's like looking at a single tree in a large forest. The other main branch is called macroeconomics. Macro means large, or the big picture. Macroeconomics studies the whole economy. This could be the economy of a whole country, or even the entire global economy together. It looks at total output, not just one product. It considers overall employment, not just one firm. It is like looking at the entire forest. Macroeconomics tackles very broad questions. For instance, what causes a country's economy to grow? Why does unemployment rise or fall across the nation? What makes prices in general go up? Which is inflation? How do government actions affect the whole system? Micro and macro are different, but connected. All the small individual choices, micro, add up to create the big picture, macro. Understanding both gives us a fuller view. One of the most basic ideas in economics is supply and demand. It sounds technical, but it is just about buying and selling. Let's start with demand. Demand is about what people want to buy. It's also about how much they are willing to pay. If you really want something, your demand is high. If the price is too high, your demand might drop. This relationship between price and quantity wanted is key. Imagine it is a very hot summer day. Many people will want to buy ice cream. The demand for ice cream will be high. What if the price of ice cream suddenly doubles? Some people might still buy it, but fewer will. They might choose a cheaper cold drink instead. So generally, when prices go up, demand goes down, and when prices go down, demand often goes up. Now let's think about supply. Supply is about what businesses offer to sell. It is how much of a product they can make and what price they need to cover their costs and make profit. If prices for a product are high, businesses might make more. This is because they can earn more money. If prices are very low, they might produce less. It might not be worth their effort otherwise. Let's go back to our ice cream example. If ice cream shops see that many people want ice cream and are willing to pay a good price for it, they will try to supply more ice cream. They might order more ingredients or hire more staff. Supply and demand interact in the market. They help to determine the price of things and how much of it gets bought and sold. It's like a constant dance between buyers and sellers. Every single day you make many small decisions. You decide what to have for breakfast. You choose whether to take the bus or walk. You pick which brand of toothpaste to buy. These might seem like tiny, unimportant choices, but when we add them all up, they have a big impact. They are the building blocks of the economy. Your personal spending is part of overall demand. These individual choices send signals. They tell businesses what people want and what they do not want so much. If lots of people start buying organic vegetables, supermarkets will notice this trend. They will then order more organic vegetables. Farmers might decide to grow more organic produce. This is how consumer preferences shape production. Think about a larger shift in behavior. Imagine many people decide to reduce car use. Perhaps they start cycling or using public transport more. The demand for bicycles and bus tickets would rise. Bike shops and manufacturers would likely benefit. Public transport services might expand. On the other hand, demand for cars could fall. Car companies and petrol stations might see less business. This shows how our collective individual choices can steer the direction of the entire economy. It is not just big companies or governments making things happen. We are all active participants every day. When you choose one product over another, you are in a small way voting with your money. You are influencing what gets made and sold. Understanding this connection is quite empowering. It means your choices matter more than you think. Section 5. New players on the world stage. The rise of emerging markets. The world economy is always changing. New countries are becoming more important. We call these emerging markets. These are nations whose economies are growing fast. They are developing and industrializing rapidly. They are moving from being poorer to becoming richer. Think of countries like China, India, or Brazil. Also, places like Indonesia, Mexico, or Nigeria. These emerging markets have seen huge changes. Millions of people have been lifted out of poverty. Factories have been built, creating new jobs. Cities have grown with new buildings and roads. Their middle class is expanding significantly. This means more people have money to spend. They want to buy more goods and services. This creates new opportunities for businesses worldwide. Their growth story is truly remarkable. The impact of emerging markets is global. They produce many of the goods we use daily. From clothes to electronics, many items are made there. This has often meant lower prices for consumers, but they are not just producers anymore. They are also becoming huge consumer markets themselves. Their growing populations want to buy cars, phones, and travel. This changes global trade patterns significantly. The rise of these economies brings both chances and tests. It means more competition for established businesses. But it also means vast new markets to sell to. Global power dynamics are also shifting. These countries have a bigger voice in world affairs. Their economic strength gives them more influence. Understanding emerging markets is crucial today. They are reshaping our interconnected world economy. Their story is a key part of modern economics. Section 6. The economic rollercoaster: navigating booms, busts, and recessions. Economies do not grow in a straight line. They tend to go through ups and downs. This pattern is often called the business cycle. It is like an economic rollercoaster with peaks and troughs. These cycles have different phases. It is important to understand them because they affect jobs, incomes, and businesses. Governments try to manage these cycles. A boom is a period of strong economic growth. During a boom, things generally look good. Businesses are expanding and hiring more people. Unemployment is usually low. People feel confident about their financial future. They tend to spend more money. Companies invest in new projects and equipment. There is a general feeling of optimism around. But booms do not last forever. Sometimes the economy can overheat. Prices might start to rise too quickly, which is called inflation. Eventually, growth can slow down. If the economy shrinks for a significant period, this is called a recession or a bust. During a recession, things become more difficult. Businesses might cut back on production. In a recession, companies may lay off workers. Unemployment rates then start to increase. People become more worried about their jobs and money. They tend to spend less, saving more if they can. This lower spending can make the downturn worse. Sometimes a very severe and long recession is called a depression, though these are rare. Understanding these cycles helps us prepare. Governments and central banks try to smooth out these bumps. Their aim is to make the ride less volatile for everyone. Section 7, running the show, a look at different economic systems. Societies need to decide how to manage their resources. They need a system to produce goods and services and a way to distribute them among people. There are different ways to organize this. These are called economic systems. Each system has its own rules and priorities. The main types are capitalism, socialism, and planned economies. Let's look briefly at each one. Capitalism is a very common system today. In a capitalist economy, private individuals or companies own most of the means of production. This means things like factories, land, and tools. Businesses compete with each other to make profits. Prices are largely determined by supply and demand in the market. Countries like the United States and the United Kingdom have economies that are largely capitalist. Innovation and efficiency are often strong points. Socialism involves more government intervention and ownership. The idea is often to achieve greater equality and to ensure basic needs are met for everyone. Some key industries might be owned by the state, such as healthcare, education, or utilities. Taxes are often higher to fund public services. Many European countries, like Sweden or Norway, have elements of socialism in their mixed economies. They aim to balance market freedom with social welfare. A planned economy, sometimes called a command economy, is where the government makes nearly all economic decisions. The state decides what goods to produce. It decides how much to produce and for whom. The government owns and controls most industries. The former Soviet Union operated this way. North Korea is a modern example. These systems can struggle with efficiency and innovation, and meeting diverse consumer needs can be hard. In reality, most countries today have mixed economies. They blend elements of capitalism and socialism. They use markets but also have government regulation and public services funded by taxes. The exact mix varies greatly from country to country. Finding the right balance is a constant debate. Each system has its own strengths and weaknesses and impacts people's lives in different ways. Section 8. The government's hand: how policies steer the economy. Even in economies that are mostly market-driven, governments play a very important role. They do not just stand by and watch. They use various policies to influence the economy. They try to achieve goals like stable growth, low unemployment, and stable prices are also key. These policies can have powerful effects, so it is useful to know about them. One main tool is fiscal policy. This relates to government spending and taxation. If the economy is slow, the government might increase spending, for example, on new roads or schools, which are public works. This can create jobs and boost demand, or it might cut taxes, giving people more money to spend. If the economy is growing too fast and causing inflation, the government might reduce spending or raise taxes. This can help to cool things down a bit. Another key tool is monetary policy. This is usually managed by a country's central bank, like the Bank of England or the Federal Reserve in the US. Monetary policy deals with the money supply. It also involves setting interest rates. Interest rates are the cost of borrowing money. If the central bank lowers interest rates, it becomes cheaper for people and businesses to borrow. This can encourage spending and investment, boosting growth. If inflation is high, the central bank might raise interest rates. This makes borrowing more expensive. It can help to slow down spending and control prices. Governments also use regulations. These are rules that businesses must follow. For example, rules about worker safety, or laws to protect the environment, or regulations to ensure products are safe for consumers. All these policies shape economic activity. They aim to keep the economy healthy and fair. Section 9. Why economics matters to you. A final thought for everyone. So, we have journeyed from small choices to big systems. Economics is not just a subject for classrooms or for experts in tall office buildings. It is something that affects everyone, every day. It is woven into the fabric of our lives. From the price of your morning tea to the job opportunities available in your town, it underpins much of what happens in the world. Understanding basic economics helps you make sense of the news. Why are some countries rich and others poor? What does it mean when inflation is rising? Why do interest rates change? And how does it affect you? Economic literacy gives you the tools to answer these questions for yourself. It helps you see beyond the headlines and understand the forces shaping events. This understanding can also empower you. It can help you make more informed personal decisions about your career, your savings, and your investments. It can also make you a more informed citizen. When you understand economic arguments, you can better evaluate what politicians are proposing. You can participate more effectively in public debates about how our society should be run. Ultimately, economics is a story about people. It is about how we work, trade, and cooperate. It is about our efforts to improve our lives and the lives of those in our communities. It explores how we face challenges like scarcity and how we strive for prosperity and well-being. It's a dynamic and ever-evolving field, and knowing a little about it can make a big difference. It helps us all navigate our complex world.